Hello, friends. Welcome to the Thinning of the Veil podcast. I'm your host, Tia Smith, and welcome back. We are in for a couple more cool stories today, include dreams, revelatory thinning of the veil experiences through dreams. I love these kind of stories because I too experience thinning of the veil experiences through dreams. So it's cool to hear other people have similar experiences to what you are having. Thank you to everyone for contributing to the channel. I got my first super thanks on YouTube, and I thought I finally made it. I finally have my first super thanks. So, thank you to all you who support it, whether it's a monthly, whether it is just a one time. All the links are in the description, my friends. And honestly, just thank you for tuning in because that means I'm not talking to myself all day, which would probably put me in a loony bin if I if I thought about it too much. So thanks for all your liking, subscribing, and sharing with others. It's making a difference. Coming up tomorrow, we have the Gathering Academy, and I know I said that it's going to be attaching sources. This is the cool thing about Family Search. It's changing all the time. And when I recorded that video, right after that, of course, something changed in Family Search, and now there is a newer version for attaching sources. So we are not going to play that video this week. Colette will re-record with the new Family Search information and the new view, and we will play that probably next week. So tomorrow, she's going to go through the process that you go through about finding the one, starting with a revelatory experience and then walking through all of the tools on different websites that can help you walk through the process of the one and getting to the point of finding the needs and the ordinances that they need and the information that they need. So it's kind of like a walkthrough process of finding the one that you can also choose to do and take, and where to look and what your journey in finding the one might look like. And then Friday is a talk called Standing in Holy Places by Elder Bednar. Super, super helpful for us given the last couple of weeks. And I hope that you will find the patterns of the destroying angel passing the children of Israel by to our day, and how we also can have the destroying angel pass us by as well. That will be Elder Bednar on Friday. And then the next week, we'll talk about the sanctified ones, as we've learned about the law of consecration and the law of sacrifice. Now, these two particular stories were taken from True Miracles with Genealogy, Help from Beyond the Veil, compiled by Anne Bradshaw. And these stories are from volume 1, and I will include the link in the description below. She has graciously allowed me to share any of the stories that I felt would be helpful to the podcast, and clearly they're helpful. And I'm wanting to read these two stories, prefacing it with a quote by Elder Richard G. Scott, talking about the spirit of Elijah and family history work. He says, I testify that the spirit of Elijah is touching the hearts of many of Father's children throughout the world, causing the work for the dead to accelerate at an unprecedented pace. But what about you? Have you prayed about your own ancestors' work? That's key, my friends. He said, set aside those things in your life that don't really matter. Decide to do something that will have eternal consequences. Perhaps you have been prompted to look for ancestors, but feel you are not a genealogist. Can you see that you don't have to be anymore? It all begins with love and a sincere desire to help those beyond the veil who can't help themselves. Check around. There will be someone in your area who can help you have success. This work is a spiritual work, a monumental effort of cooperation on both sides of the veil, where help is given in both directions. Anywhere you are in the world, with prayer, faith, determination, diligence, and some sacrifice, you can make a powerful contribution. Begin now. I promise you that the Lord will help you find a way, and it will make you feel wonderful. Elder Scott testifies that this work is moving forward at an unprecedented pace, and that the beginning of your work and of my work should be on our knees, pleading and importuning the Lord on behalf of those on the other side of the veil, asking who needs help, letting the Lord know that you are willing to take the steps necessary to find the information needed or the direction that you need to head in to find those who need help on the other side of the veil. And you don't have to be a professional genealogist. My friends, that is the whole point of uh, why I'm doing this podcast, why we started the Gathering Academy, is to let you know that there are tools and people to help out there who can help you move forward. Now I'm going to jump into the stories. The first one was called A Whisper Away by Elizabeth Jane Roberts, and she's from England. She writes, I swung my legs over the side of the bed and sat there, trying to make sense of the dream. I remember most of my dreams very clearly, but this one left me puzzled. Dreams are a common way for ancestors to leave messages, visit, or pass on information. In return, we like to help, but we do expect a fair share of clues. All I could grasp from the dream was the name Frances, spelled Frances. Frances who? I kept thinking. That's rather minimal information to work on. They must think I'm a genius. Strangely, I knew Frances was female as opposed to a male Francis, spelled Francis. She follows. My day allowed me to work on research, so I sat at my desk and pondered. I had done the praying, and now it was a matter of intelligent decision making. I love that it didn't stop at praying. She got her feet moving and she moved forward with the next step in the pattern that made sense to her. She follows, how was I to find Francis without a surname to go by? I had been working on the Aldington, Kent records, so it seemed logical to go back to what I was already doing until I got a better idea. I opened the books and plodded on from where I left off the day before, looking at the transcripts. My Kent families are Drylands, Butchers, and Fags, great names which I am passionately fond of. One village can connect in many ways. You add a wife, then you add a brother-in-law, and then add his marriage and a wife's name, and then her parents, and it blossoms like a fruit tree. No day is long enough to satisfy the search. One village can connect with a web of relationships. As marriages made connections and christenings gave me parents' names, I moved back generation by generation. Suddenly, a connection stood out. Goodwin. Frances Goodwin. Was this the Frances? She was connected to my tree, which made sense with the communication in my dream. I placed her on the tree and searched for her parents, their marriage, and finally her brothers and sisters. By the end of the day, I had the entire family. I checked to see if Frances's family was on IGI and Family Search. Yes. As I went through her family names, all of their work seemed done, name after name. All were registered correctly, names, dates, places. I reviewed the finished sheet, tears trickling down my cheeks. Someone had called my name in my sleep and sought my ear. She had a special need, and I found it. All her family names had been taken to the temple, all except hers. That was why Frances sought permission to speak to me here on earth, where I could do this unique work for her. Sometimes we don't appreciate the reality of the power we hold to serve our ancestors until we are led by faith to do something so special. And sometimes we forget how close heaven is to earth, just a whisper away. I'm grateful for her testimony about testifying of the process of receiving information from the other side of the veil through her particular way, which was dreams in this instance. I, like her, have also a testimony that if you will ask and then get your feet moving, the Lord will move you in so many ways that you cannot comprehend. And when you look back, the beautiful work that has been done and the many miracles that have been given to save the one is quite extraordinary in your testimony of the Savior Jesus Christ. Now, the next story is called The Census Dream by Amy Borst, and she's from Washington, D.C. She writes, a few years ago, I was doing some family history research with my parents and sister. My mother had been searching for her great-grandfather for a long time, and she knew very little about his son, her grandfather. My mom encouraged me to start looking for her great-grandfather, but I procrastinated. Although I had done temple work, I'd never stepped foot into a family history library. One night, while my mom was visiting my home in Virginia, I had a dream in which I clearly saw a document. It had a list of names, which I guessed was a family. The parents were offset to the left a bit, and the names below were their children. I saw my grandfather's name, my mom's father. It said Arthur. Above it was another name, Clifford, who I assumed was the father. To the right were dates and occupations. I had no idea what all this meant, but remember struggling the whole night to memorize the paper and the names on it. Next morning, I told my mom about the dream and said I had the strong feeling we should go to the Stake Family History Center in Centerville. Previously, Mom searched in her small ward family history center in New York, where she was the librarian, and had never found anything on this family. When we reached the research center, I told the workers there about my dream and began searching documents. Finally, they pulled up a census. When I saw the document, my heart started racing. The image from my dream flashed in my mind. I had never seen a census before in my life, yet this document was the one from my dream. Without a doubt, everything about it was the same, even the handwriting. I scrolled down until I saw the name from my dream. My great-grandfather, Clifford Cummins, and below it, his son, my grandfather, and my mom's father, Arthur Cummins. I started crying, and so did Mom. This was the first document she had seen in all her years of searching that contained pertinent information about her family. It was our first step in finding her great-grandfather. As we searched more documents that day, we finally found Mom's great-grandfather's name and family on a census. Because of my dream, we were able to find the first census containing my grandfather's name and then traced back from one census to another, since we now had birth dates and cities to help. I believe the Spirit led me to something I would recognize. If I'd just seen my great grandfather's name, it would have meant nothing to me, and I probably would have ignored it. But because I saw that document with my grandfather's name, Arthur, I recognized it and knew someone was trying to reach me. This story reminds me of the testimony that Elder Irene has testified of. In a dream, he saw a piece of paper, and on it was written Eaton Bray, which is a town in England. We must pay attention to our dreams. Not all the time will we receive names. And it's interesting to me that Anne Bradshaw, who is the author of these books, recently wrote to me and said that she received a name in a dream, and it was like a neon, I think it was green light, she said, just blinking. Now, it's not that obvious sometimes. Sometimes it's a dream of papers. Sometimes it's a dream of people. They are communications from the other side of the veil to help us reunite families together forever. And I cannot think of a more exalting work than a work that needs help and information from the other side of the veil for it to be accomplished. What a wonderful and grand opportunity we've been given, my friends, to participate in the Lord's work, to be endowed with priesthood power, to act as priests and priestesses to the Most High God, in bringing sacred sons and daughters back into his fold. I relish and cherish the opportunity that has been given to me to live in these latter days, even with the crazy contention that is happening. The compensatory blessings of this work will keep us safe within the arms of the Savior and within the context of Zion. And as we all pray, most assuredly, for Jesus to come very, very soon, may we be strengthened to ask who needs help. Importune the Lord about that, my friends, and watch how he will answer those prayers every single time in varying different ways. Thanks for joining me today. I'm grateful to have this communion with you and participation from you and love. Join us tomorrow in the Gathering Academy and then Friday with Elder Bednar. I promise you won't be disappointed. We'll see ya. Bye.